Hey guys, it is Amy Alternates here, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be posting for the third time this week. I wanted to try this because I know a couple of you guys have been saying that you want me to post 3 days a week, and so hopefully I can make this a regular occurrence. I might not be able to always post 3 times a week, but yeah, let's see how it works. This is What If Naruto Had Lava Release Part 1, and because it's a new series, there's going to be a like goal, so the like goal for this video is going to be 150 likes. If not, then I'll just do a different series until this video gets over 150 likes. So without further ado, roll the intro. A 5-year-old Naruto was walking into a shinobi accessory / bookstore. He hadn't been in this one before. He was under a Henge or Transformation. Hiruzen taught him how to do this so he could go into the stores without being overcharged or kicked out. As of the last 6 months, not many people had seen Naruto. They didn't even know where he lived. This was because Naruto always wore a Henge whenever he left his apartment. "Hello, sir," Naruto said to the man behind the counter. "I was wondering if I could get a pack of chakra paper, a book on elemental manipulation, a book on chakra control, and a book on elemental Keki Genkai." "Will do, kiddo," the man said, putting on a warm smile. The man walked around the store for a few minutes, gathering everything. "Oh, and by the way, kiddo, I can see through your Henge. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody. I don't have anything against you. Hey, if you come here often enough, I can give you a discount. Oh, and by the way, call me Raitetsu." Naruto's face lit up. "Thank you, sir," Naruto said. Naruto then paid for the items and went back home. It was around lunchtime, so he started boiling water for ramen. Naruto really liked ramen, but he didn't eat it every single day. He had it for lunch or dinner 3 or 4 times a week. When it was done, he ate it quickly and then sat on the couch. He then opened a pack of chakra papers and grabbed one. "Okay, here goes," Naruto said, forcing chakra into the paper. Hiruzen taught Naruto how to access his chakra when he got his apartment. Flashback, 1 year ago. Naruto was training in the field with Hiruzen. He'd taken the day off because he had managed to get all of his paperwork done, somehow. "Okay, Naruto, I want you to calm yourself and try and feel your chakra." Naruto closed his eyes, and after a few minutes he found himself in what looked like an underground cave system. There was a tunnel straight ahead, so Naruto walked through it, and at the end, it opened up into a massive cavern. Naruto then noticed 2 things. To his right, there was this cage with a huge fox in it. The cave was built into the side of the cavern. There was also the massive sleeping fox in it had 9 tails. To his left was a royal purple lake that he almost couldn't even see the end. There was a film with what looked like ice on top. "So that explains the seal on my stomach," Naruto said, looking at the fox. "So my host has finally decided to come and visit me," Kurama growled, cracking one eye open. "Don't get used to it," Naruto said. "I didn't come here for you." Naruto turned away, and Kurama closed his eyes again. Naruto then noticed there was a red liquid pouring out of the cage into the lake. At certain times, it would surge, and then die down. It wasn't much, but it was enough to cause visible waves underneath the ice on the lake. Naruto then imagined a new, large-sized pond to the right of the pre-existing lake, and directly in front of the cage. He then imagined a 1-foot-tall gate in front of the purple lake in the path of the red liquid. The gate was partially open, allowing a fixed amount of the red chakra to flow into the lake. The rest would be directed off into the empty pond, where it would begin collecting. At certain times, Naruto would imagine the pond size larger so that it didn't overflow. Naruto then walked to the edge of the purple lake and punched the ice film on top of it. The first punch resulted in a few cracks. The second resulted in the cracks getting larger, and the third shattered the ice film. All over the lake, the ice film broke into shards and sunk beneath the waves. The surface of the lake now looked calm after a while, the red chakra no longer affecting it and making it uneven and making waves. Naruto then didn't look at the fox and left. When he came back to reality, he reached for his chakra and found he could now access it. He tried to draw as much as he could, and this resulted in him being surrounded by a purple shroud that was cracking the ground he was standing on. After that, Naruto had brought up the fox to Hiruzen and Hiruzen had explained to Naruto about it. Naruto then just said it was to protect the village and moved on. He was still hurt that Hiruzen had entrusted him with it, but he understood the value of protecting the village and the people in it. Flashback end. The top third section of the paper card burst into flames before turning to ash. Strong fire Findi, Naruto thought. The other 2/3 of the card hardened and turned into obsidian. Strong earth Findi, Naruto thought. Then the top third of the obsidian sheet turned into lava, but disappeared before it hit the ground. Lava release, Naruto said, before turning to the book and reading the entire thing, searching for any signs of what lava release could do. 6 months later, Naruto had finished the basic earth elemental manipulation, which involved hardening a leaf, and the basic fire manipulation, which involved burning a leaf. Naruto had mastered them to the level where he could burn words onto the leaf and harden it into different parts. With his lava release, Naruto could form different types of lava. He'd read that there were multiple forms of lava release. There was molten rock, there was acidic mud, there was corrosive quicklime, and there was rubber. Naruto had started with rubber because he wanted to start with the most simple and safe aspect of lava release so that he didn't kill himself. This meant that he could experiment with lava release later, but he'd have some experience down, but it would be safe. So far, he had managed to create a jutsu he called Yotan bungee cord, my bad. It was basically a purple elastic bungee cord that could attach to almost any substance. If this reminds you of from Hunter x Hunter, Hisoka's bungee gum, that's actually somewhat where I got the inspiration from, but it wasn't entirely that. But anyway, back to the story. So far, he managed to create a cord that was around 12 feet long. He was working on creating it from different parts of his body, but it was extremely hard, and so he just stuck with the basics for now. It was basically an elastic bungee cord that he could attach to almost any substance. It was extremely durable and stretchy. He'd also learned the hiding like a mole technique and created the Kanton firecracker, where that jutsu was basically the user spat out a ton of ping-pong-sized balls of fire that exploded. Naruto had managed to shave the number of hand signs down to use the jutsu to only one, the horse hand sign. Naruto then started to do physical conditioning while wearing weights. The weights weren't very heavy, but they still made working out harder. 1.5 years later, Naruto was 7 years old. He had started working on and learning his Taijutsu style. It was called the Targeting Fist. He created this style to be able to counteract almost every other style, but it needed to evolve, and so he needed to fight more people. The style was basically used speed and intelligence to find weak spots on the opponent and then target them. He'd also managed to be able to use the Yotan bungee cord from any part of the body and be able to hide it with the transparent escape jutsu. Naruto had also created the Kanton Fire Fang, which basically creates a wolf-like set of jaws around the user's head made out of fire. He also created the Kanton Smoke Cloud. The user basically spat out a stream of smoke that can be used to clear out a building or create cover. The Yotan Dragon Tears. The user basically spits out a large ball of molten rock into the air. Then after a couple of seconds, it breaks apart and comes down as molten rain. It could be used from a distance to be able to flush or destroy out buildings. Time skip. 1 year, 6 months later. Okay, class. Do you know any jutsu that you would like to show to everybody? Naruto, Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Shino raised their hands. The entire class went outside to the practice range, and Shino started off by making a bug clone. Shikamaru went next and used the Shadow Paralysis jutsu on Ruka. Sasuke went third and showed the Great Fireball jutsu. When he was done, he turned to Naruto and in front of everybody said, "Beat that, dobe." Naruto didn't say anything and just walked up to the field. He then flashed through 17 hand signs, ending with the horse hand sign, and shouted, "Yotan, Dragon Tears." He then spat out a ball of molten rock. It flew about 60 feet into the air and directly over the training dummies. It then burst and came down as lava rain. All the dummies were destroyed, and the practice rain completely destroyed. Everyone was shocked at the display of power he just put on. "Dope, I demand you teach that to me. You shouldn't have that power. I should, Sasuke said. Yeah! Sakura screamed from behind him. Naruto just ignored them both and walked back to the crowd. When he sat down, he turned back and said, "No can do, King Emo." This got a few snickers out of the boys in the group, and some glares from Sasuke's fan club. You have to have the Yotan bloodline, which you don't. Time skip. 3 years. Naruto was in one of the training fields after school had ended. He came here regularly. He was working on adding more to the targeting fist. He then noticed a 4-man cell approaching him, but he ignored them. "Hey, who are you, and why are you in a training field, Blondie?" a girl with a hair bun said. "Well, maybe because I've been training here for 6 years, Panda," Naruto replied, adding the last part as payback for calling him Blondie. The girl apparently hated the Panda comment, since she rushed forward and tried to punch him with a pair of brass knuckles. Naruto saw this out of the corner of his eye, and looked up, studying her for a few seconds before she reached striking range. Naruto was insanely good at reading people, but he kept his skills sharp by including it into his Taijutsu style. If he had longer, he probably would have found other weak spots, but he went for the first one he noticed. The girl's arm she was striking with had sustained a recent injury. It healed, but she wasn't fully used to using that arm again. As she got closer, Naruto seemed to lean forward and to the side, dodging her punch. He then put his full momentum into a punch and nailed her in the shoulder, dislocating it with an audible pop and sending her back a few feet. "You should be careful as to who you try and fight," Naruto said, walking up to her. She looked up at him with her teeth bared. He knelt down next to her and popped her arm back into place. "Named Naruto Uzumaki. And you might be?" Naruto asked. It was a boy with huge red eyebrows that responded. "That is my youthful teammate Tenten. His name," Lee said, pointing at a boy with the Byakugan, "is Neji Hyuga. And my name is Rock Lee, the second beautiful green beast of Konoha. He is our teacher, Might Guy, the first beautiful green beast of Konoha." "Okay, you guys seem like you want to use the training field alone, so I'll leave," Naruto said, as he started to walk off. "Wait, I would like to have a sparring match with you," Lee said. "Alright, I'm guessing this is strictly Taijutsu?" Naruto asked. "No, you can use whatever you want and have at your disposal, but I will only be using Taijutsu, since I cannot use Ninjutsu or Genjutsu," Lee said as he got into the Goken style. "Goken, eh?" Naruto thought to himself. "I know the perfect counter." Lee then disappeared and reappeared behind Naruto, aiming a roundhouse kick at Naruto's head. Naruto simply grabbed Lee's leg without turning around, and pulled him forward. As Lee was flying forward, Naruto chopped him in the throat, causing him to collapse. As Lee was getting up, Naruto kicked him in the stomach, causing him to fly up to eye level. Naruto then launched a chakra-enhanced left haymaker to Lee's solar plexus. Lee rocketed backwards and landed on his back. He tried to get up, but fell down again. "I wouldn't try to get up. I hit a pressure point," Naruto said. While normally, if someone were to hit a pressure point, they'll wear off, I added chakra so the effects will last longer. "I'm gonna go now, and I expect you will be training harder to give me a challenge the next time we meet. If you do want to find me, I will be at Training Ground 37, Naruto said as he started to leave. "That move you used on Lee. It looks like the Hyuga's gentle fist style," Neji said, staring accusingly at Naruto. Naruto sighed before speaking. "If you think me incorporating targeting pressure points of the body is stealing the gentle fist style, I can assure you it's not. The targeting fist style was designed by me to target and exploit all weaknesses. That includes 1. Holes in a Taijutsu stance, 2. Counters to specific moves, and 3. Hitting weak spots in the body, be that past injuries, like I did with Tenten, or pressure points, like I did with Lee." Neji said. "As much as I want to smash that arrogant face of yours into the dirt, I respect the strength that you have. It is evident in the way you carry yourself," Naruto said. "So I think it will be in both of our best interests not to fight. As it is now, we are the same terms of strength, and that is unknown. So, unless you are dying to prove that you are stronger than me, the reverse could happen and I prove that I am stronger than you. So I suggest that we will have our fight later, but not any time in the very close future." Neji just nodded at this, seeing the logic in his words, as Naruto walked away. 1 year later, Naruto was sitting in class while Haruka was calling out names. Flashback. Mizuki had approached Naruto after Naruto had passed the Gaki test. He had told Naruto to steal the scroll ceiling and take it outside of Konoha. Naruto had then done this, and after informing Hiruzen about the situation. Haruka had arrived, and Mizuki had injured him, and then proceeded to tell Naruto about the fox, which Naruto already knew about, and then proceeded to tell his whole plan, which Naruto had recorded and gave to Hiruzen. Naruto wasn't originally going to kill Mizuki, but when he broke the third law, punishable by death, all bets were thrown off. On top of that, he'd been mean to Naruto and tried to sabotage his training, and he was a traitor. So Naruto had used his newest jutsu, Yotan, Lava Dragon Heads. It was his first attempt at making a dragon elemental jutsu, and he simply shot between 6 to 12 lava blobs in the shape of a dragon head. Mizuki had died instantly. After Naruto was done, there was nothing left but a gleaming white skeleton. Naruto then helped Haruka back to the village. He'd also gotten a B rank on his record and paid for a B rank mission. Flashback end. Haruka was still calling out names. Team 7 will be. Anyway guys, thanks for listening. I will see you next time.